Welcome to M201 Preparing the Theater. This lesson will introduce you to the processes and considerations involved in setting up a theater of operations for large-scale combat operations, or LSCO. This is the first of 2 videos. Here is a collection of images representing the 4 segments of JRSOI. Can you identify them? This is an image from a video about Balikatan 2023, a prominent annual military exercise between the Philippines and the United States. What activities do you see happening? The lesson flow of academic year 25. Module 2 course includes various lessons, practica, and assessments over 9 days and 36 hours. This slide serves as an agenda regarding the key concepts covered during the lesson. This lesson is co-taught between DISFIM and DJMO. Take a moment to review the planning you have already executed and consider the planning activities that you will execute in M200. The C599 practicum introduced you to the Date P scenario. During Pacific Fire, CJTFC was able to neutralize Ulvanin A2AD systems in the JOA, regain Natuna Besar, isolate Bagansight forces on Andaman Nicobar, and neutralize Bagansight forces on Marali Reef. In M201, your perspective will initially shift to the Theater Army, or ASCC, USARPAC, which is focused on setting the theater, JOA, in advance of CJTF deploying forces. In M202, you will advance in time to CPLOW 51 to begin division movement planning as planners assigned to 25th Infantry Division. In C599, you developed a response to Ulvanin and Bagansight aggression in the JOA. Major operations would just have finished around C-10. Familiarize yourself with the overall campaign architecture. This chart illustrates the nesting of Pacific Aegis, Pacific Palisade, and AOC modules. This CJTFEC force structure diagram illustrates the organization and coordination of various joint and multinational commands. Take note of where they are in time and space. Initial planning will focus on setting the theater, or JOA, prior to the arrival of coalition and allied forces. In M202, planning shifts to movements from the theater staging base to the tactical assembly areas. In M299, you will plan the move of 25th Infantry Division from tactical assembly areas to the division's area of operations. This RSO&I overview highlights the logistics and security operations provided by the 8th TSC, 364 ESC, and the Bangkok Division. Theater Army forces are categorized into light green and blue, each representing different operational roles and capabilities. Theater Army enablers are in green. Theater Army forces for the expanded theater are in blue. Campaigns that include LSCO may cause the Theater Army to expand to support Army and joint, interagency, intergovernmental, and multinational forces. Note the Theater Army roles, functions, and tasks in purple. These are focused on joint reception, staging, onward movement, and integration responsibilities. The Executive Agent listing provides a comprehensive list of agencies and their respective responsibilities in theater operations. EAs provide defined levels of support for either operational or administrative missions that involve 2 or more DoD components. DAFL is a statutory authority contained in Title 10, Section 164. The statute gives authoritative direction to subordinate commands and forces necessary to carry out missions assigned to the command, including authoritative direction over all aspects of military operations, joint training, and logistics. DAFL cannot be delegated or transferred, except that the combatant commander may delegate responsibility for the planning, execution, and/or management of common logistics and sustainment capabilities to a subordinate JFC's or service component commander's mission. DAFL is closely related to common user logistics. CUL can apply to common user items across the services by commodity, Class 1 through Class 9, logistics functions, and/or service support. The GCC assigns lead service responsibilities, normally through the contingency planning process, to achieve efficiencies and eliminate redundancies. These lead service support functions can be for single or multiple common user functions and often include general supplies. Take a moment to consider why some classes of supply are highly suited for common usage while others are not. Service suitability is an important consideration when reducing redundancy, risks, and costs. Services on the left of the scale are broadly in the realm of an individual service's Title X responsibilities. For example, think about maintenance. An Army's Support Maintenance Company, SMC, in theater provides sustainment-level maintenance with a full set of tools and diagnostic equipment. However, an Air Force element with wheeled vehicles may not be able to receive routine services from the SMC due to a lack of service-specific repair parts. Army support to other services includes various support requirements such as air missile defense, fire support, and logistics management. A SOS enables joint forces freedom of action and endurance by reducing redundancy and creating efficiency. These summaries explain the responsibilities of various executive agent designations and Army support to other services. The ASCC is responsible for tailoring Army forces to meet combatant commander requirements, setting pre-deployment standards, and balancing transportation flows. This links to Army Force Management, leveraging strategic documents and systems like JRSOI to accurately assess force readiness and allocate resources to combatant commanders. As units transition to combatant commands, their status in JRSOI reflects these changes. Force providers allocate forces to the GCC through the TIP FID, detailing the roles of various service providers. This chart shows a list of force providers from functional commands with functional ASCCs. The Army currently has 4 functional ASCCs. This has been part 1 of a 2-part overview of M201, Preparing the Theater. In part 2, we will dig deeper into setting the theater.